All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the land of milk and free money. So glad that you're here today. We appreciate everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. And I am your host, Edward Pereira, and I have my trusty great friend, Mr. Attila Hevesy, as my co-host, and then we have our great genius, not genius, Mr. Ed Barsano, who created the most powerful money machine on the planet. So with that, let me share screen. Bear with me. Okay, bear with me. Can everybody see my screen?
Can't speak for everybody, but I can see it.
Okay, very good. Yep, if you can see it, everybody else can see it too. So let me go to presentation mode for the hard of hearing. So what can you expect today? You can expect one big word, transformation, and I spelled it correctly this time. Transformation in that what you're going to see today is something that isn't available anywhere else in the universe, in the solar system, or anywhere else. It's a 25 years in the making, really 50 years in the making of programming prowess and genius to create something that everybody said, no one can ever create this. It doesn't exist. It can't be created. Tell that to Mr. Barsano. He created something for all of us that blesses all of us financially. You're going to see about a 45-minute deep dive. You're going to see lots and lots of information. So strap in. I always say, put your clip into your 6-point harness. We don't want you falling off your chair when you see some of the things that seem too good to be true, but they're not. We don't want you bumping your head, but please stay tuned. Please do pay attention. You're going to see an autonomous crypto trader and money management system that literally just makes money in your sleep. No interaction. You're going to hear it 100% all day, every day, just works on its own once it's connected. You're going to see something that I have labeled the $1 billion report. It's really the high trade count that identifies optimal trading opportunities. But again, it's something that once you set up your engine, which takes 10 minutes or so, it just cranks out free money for the rest of your life. You're going to see a demonstration of two different platforms. One is mine that I set up in simulation just to show you what it would do. And a lot of that information came courtesy of the $1 billion report to show you how powerful the tools are within the system that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any research, although we always suggest that you do your own research. But what you'll see today is a very comprehensive presentation of what's available to you. It's not a sales pitch, it's an education. If you're interested, then it is available at a significant discount because you're a rabid fan, as we are of cryptocurrency. And if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. So we find that, as a matter of fact, most people that have joined us today are rabid fans, the people that have owned the trader, and we leave the chat function open because you can chat amongst yourselves. If you're brand new, you can ask all the questions that you want, and our community jumps in and tells you all about their experience with the trader, and it's amazing. If you want to chat, do it kindly, be respectful, and if you have questions, please don't wait for the questions. Either write them down or put them in the Q&A section, and then we'll transition to a Q&A section that usually goes longer than the presentation, but we try and be respectful of your time. But we also want to make sure that all of your questions are answered. And lastly, you're looking, you're going to see representation of what is truly set it and forget it. It's a trading solution that you don't have to be accredited, you don't have to study trading, you don't have to do anything. The money management system and the platform does all the work for you. So let me show you big red letters. I'm not going to read it word for word, but we're required to say that this is for informational and educational purposes only. We're not licensed advisors. We're not tax advisors. We're not investment professionals. We're not attorneys. What you see is not guaranteed, but we're going to show you a lot of factual information based on the performance of this platform over the last 3 years and about 8 months. You're here at your own risk, but we're not promising anything. You're going to see some amazing results in a 90% plus down market. And this just cranks out money, even in that market. It's never seen a bull market. We're going to see something relatively soon, I believe, that is going to put us in that market. And if it's making triple digits over the span of 3.5 years in a down market, then imagine what it could do in another market. So everything you see is as is, and we'll go from there. And I'll continue to share some information. But right now, I'll stop sharing and I'll turn it over to my good friend, Mr. Hevesy, and we'll go to town.
Thank you, Edward. Nice introduction, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Attila Hevesy. My job is to just give you a little bit about my background and how it is that I met Mr. Barsano 13 years ago, and it's led to this, which is a great thing. So basically, my background's purely financial my whole life, financial planner, a lot of things in between, but I don't want to bore you. Let's go to September 2020, and that's when I decided to just go head first and dive into the whole digital money revolution space, learn about blockchain, learn about DeFi, crypto, AI. And, I'm not an uber expert, but I know more than the average bear walking the streets about what's happened up to this point and what's about to happen. And we're in a very, very, very disruptive space. If someone was to ask me, give me one word that relates to this digital money revolution, it's technology. A lot of these companies that people own, as far as cryptos, it's all about the technology that they have that is going to help enhance or better the world with something that is not available anywhere else. So, but I add another word to that, disruptive technology, okay? And there's been many disruptions in the last 50 to 100 years. I believe this is the biggest disruption in the last, well, probably since the advent of electricity, because what it's disrupting is money, the entire global financial system. It doesn't get bigger and better than that. And I always say this, I don't think we could live 10 lifetimes and have the type of financial opportunity we all have now. And then within this big disruption in the digital money revolution, we have a smaller disruption that's very lucrative to us if we want to take advantage, and that's the GoBabyTrade autonomous robotic trader that helps you make money in your sleep. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I met Mr. Barsano in 2012, but let me back up a little bit. His background is varied, but it all started with his career in the Navy, where he learned to program, and then it led to a job, one of the first 300 people being hired at Microsoft by Bill Gates. This was in the mid-'80s. And Microsoft was going fully vertical then. Things were crazy. He's told some pretty remarkable stories about those days. But the bottom line is, he doesn't like me saying this, but he really was a rock star back then for 9 years. I mean, he was the lead programmer on most projects there that had to get done and create something that's never been created before, created a great name for himself, and retired a young man. I mean, he was 39. And I always used to say, unfortunately, but fortunately, in the year 2000, when the stock market crash came, he took a beating. He took quite a hit financially, and he decided that he was going to level the playing field at that point for the average person out there, not the uber wealthy, not the people on Wall Street, but the average person. And thus, he created in 2000, 2001, I think is when he launched it, a fully robotic autonomous stock market trader. So it was downloadable software back then. It was a little tedious and cumbersome, but once you had it downloaded, after about 60 to 90 minutes, this is how it worked. It turned itself on automatically. Right around 9:30 in the morning when the stock market opened, it traded for you all day long, taking profits, buying more stocks when the stock went down in price. And at 4 o'clock, when the market closed, it shut itself off automatically. And it did this 100% unattended. Now, it's remarkable when you think about that today, but 24, 25 years ago, believe me, it was much more remarkable because nobody had seen this kind of automation, really. At least not the average Tom, Dick, and Harry, Sally walking the streets. So a mutual friend 12 years later in 2012 introduced us. He showed me the trader. I bought it on the spot. I was blown away. And I actually helped him even market it back then through a marketing company he was associated with for 2 years. And they sold a ton of traders. Let me tell you, $16 million worth of licenses were sold in 2 years. That's a lot of business. But, partnerships are tough, and he decided to protect his brand and go back to being solo. And he did that. And then in 2018, he sold out to a hedge fund that had previously purchased many, many traders from him before. And then some of his older clients who had bought the stock trader were trying to convince Ed to build a trader for crypto. And he finally listened, and he did launch that in April of 21. Now, this is where the story kind of takes a turn, because in March of 2024, I was sitting at my desk and I was kind of having a tough day. And I thought to myself, I've got a great crypto portfolio, but I'm a cash flow guy. I love cash flow. My parents always said cash is king. I believe that's out the window, and it's morphed into cash flow is king. Because if you have enough cash flow, life is good. Not enough cash flow, life can be tough. So I'm sitting there going, how can I just keep my crypto earning more crypto on itself? And in a safe, secure manner. And it hit me a day later, but I said, my gosh, I forgot about my friend Ed Barsano. I'm certain that somewhere in the last 3, 4, 5 years, he must have launched or developed a robotic autonomous trader for crypto. Fortunately for me, I still had his phone number in my iPhone. I called him. We spoke for 3 hours. Yeah, we reconnected. And it was great to chat with him after all those years. We did a lot of catching up. And then he confirmed my hunch. He said, yeah, till I launched this, I built it and I launched it. Actually, he said, I started from scratch and I launched it in April of 21. And he said, I realized immediately this thing is light years ahead of the stock trader. And I said, why is that, Ed? And he gave me 4 compelling reasons. And this is really the nitty gritty. So listen carefully here. He said, number one, as well as I do, you absolutely must have a lot of volatility if you want to be successful in trading, any kind of trading. And I agreed. And he says, there's no asset class with more volatility than crypto. And I certainly agreed again, because that's true. So the second thing he said was, the stock market trades 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. This is 24/7, 365. That's a big advantage. And I agreed again. But really, folks, number 3 and number 4 is what kind of blew me away, because truer words were never spoken. Number 3 was this. He said, look, I created a system whereby it's not downloadable software anymore. It's web-based. And I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. So he explained to me, he says, look, if you buy the license again, because I had bought it in 2012 for the stock trader, he said, if you buy the license again, the crypto version, I could have you trading live in less than 10 minutes, because it's not downloadable software. And that blew me away, because I remember the old days 12 years prior. And I said, okay, Ed, let's do it. I bought the trader on the spot. I bought the license. And in about 8 or 9 minutes, he had me trading live with about just under $10,000. And that blew my mind. But the fourth thing was really a relief to me and a pleasant surprise, and just another mind blower. And that was the fact that he said this. He said, look, I created an API connection. This connects to your own Coinbase, your own Kraken account, whichever you choose to connect to. So you, Attila, could control in a safe manner your own crypto. I can't touch your crypto if I wanted to. Now, this was a mind blower and a revelation to me, because in prior years, I'm embarrassed to say I had lost quite a bit of money in 5 different blockchain crypto cash flow projects. But why did I lose that money? Because I didn't control my crypto. I sent it to a third-party wallet or exchange. So when things went south, which they did in 5 different projects, I couldn't get to my crypto. So I said, you know what? That is a blessing to everybody, because with all the scams in this new nascent space, And there's scams always in new nascent space. Believe me, when the stock market first came along, even though technology was not like it is today, believe me, there was a fair share of scams back then. So that
There
is,
still are.
yeah, exactly. So that's what's at the forefront of people's minds when they look at something like this. How safe are my funds? How safe is my crypto? And I said, Ed, with the four things you just named to me, we got to get this message out. Because Ed, admittedly, he's a programming genius, but he's not a sales and marketing guy. He's never been that kind of guy. So I said, I want to help you take this to the world. And so we went to work, and as a result, we connected with Crypto Casey, Edward and I did, and here we all are. And she's introduced it to her family, her audience. And then, as Edward said, Edward and I, are the support mechanism and the educational mechanism as it applies to the trader on her behalf. So here we are. So before I introduce you, Ed, I want to bring Edward back for a minute, because a little over 6 months ago, Edward, you changed course with your paper trading account, and I want you to share that story with everybody that's listening today, especially the new folks that have never seen it, because the numbers are mind-blowing.
Yeah, and a great time to show it. And this is where in the overview, the expectations, I mentioned the $1 billion report. Well, what you're going to see, and I'm going to share my screen here in a second, is you're going to see that that when this was about 3 months after Ed came out with this new report. Now, the great news is that anybody that owns a trader already knows this, but anybody that doesn't, this is a community that continues to grow. Ed isn't sitting on his thumbs. He didn't create the world's only money printing machine for you. He and his team continue to enhance reports. There's, I'm sure, as a matter of fact, he never tells us in advance, but he always shows us, hey, listen, you guys are asking for this, and we thought it would be helpful. And poof, he might be pulling a rabbit out of his hat again today. But out of the report, which I call the $1 billion report, it shows the highest trading opportunities, meaning, going back to what Attila said, talked about volatility. I say another thing I coined very early on when I saw the performance of this amazing platform is I said, this thing just eats volatility. It's got multiple millions of lines of code. It is a full money management system that literally takes all of the sport. It makes making money boring. That's not a joke. It literally just takes all the sport out. He set out to control the market when he got his ass kicked in the stock market, did that in the stock market, now has done it in the crypto market. And it's a blessing for everybody. It literally, my personal 2 cents is it's allowed me to create a passive income that gives me the opportunity to create a legacy for my children's children. Now, a lot of you know I served 3+ decades in the U.S. government as an agent. And one thing I know, well, as I always say, my little superpower is I know what the government has been up to with your money since the creation of the Federal Reserve and the creation of the IRS back in 2013. And it's rigged against you. So as far as systems go, this is so counterculture of everything that you've been taught in the financial world. And I like to say that because the financial world goes hand in hand with the educational world, right? They don't want you to be able to think for yourself or what they just want you to teach you what to think, not how to think, right? So when you look at this platform, and I'll explain a little bit about the landscape, but then Mr. Barsano, the creator, will take you ankle deep or maybe knee deep into what this looks like. But I'm going to give you an overview. So, with the exception of Zora, this is sort of an experiment because the $1 billion report, which we'll show you in detail later, has a 1-year look back on the highest trade counts, meaning the tokens or symbols that have the most volatility in the market. Which we want to know that, right? People go, we got 2 big questions. How much do I need to invest in this to make it worthwhile? We'll answer that a little bit later as well. and which coins do I need to invest in or put into the trader. We'll show you that. And it's as simple as looking at the report that's issued on a monthly basis that gives you the opportunity to understand without a whole lot of research. This report does it for you. What is the highest most volatile coins and highest traded coins in the marketplace? So that's where these came from, again, with the exception of Zora. Zora is only about a 4-month-old coin. Nothing, any of the newer coins that have not been trading on Kraken or Coinbase for the last year won't show up on the report because it is a 1-year look back. But I started with $100,000, right? This is in simulation. It says paper trading. So when you buy the license, it automatically goes into paper trading until you connect it, which is very, very simple, connecting your Coinbase or Kraken account, trading account. But I started this just with a round number. Don't be dismayed or concerned about the fact that it's $100,000. I just wanted to show the volatility of these coins. And you can see anybody that's been watching the market, and I bet you everybody that's here has looked over the last couple of weeks, and the market has been pressed down. As Mr. Barsano says, the big guys are pushing it down so that they can buy it all at the lowest prices and chase all of the average people out that don't have a trader that takes all the sport out of making money and frees up that inventory for the big boys to buy. So this is today's profit. It's taken 139. I didn't look at this until I was preparing for the webinar. $139, almost $140 the last 30 days, which has actually been really low because over the last 5 months, the market has been down, but it still wiggles. Nothing ever goes straight down. Nothing ever goes straight up. That's our little magic inside word is the wiggles in the market, and the volatility is what this trader simply takes advantage of. As little as a 3% move to the downside to buy more, or 3% or more on the upside to take a profit, the market is trapped, literally trapped, and cannot get away from you, right? Over a 6-month period, which last Thursday, the 25th, you can see I started this on March 25th of this year. So 6 months over 6 months and a couple of days. It has hands off taken $43,029.54 in your profits. Nobody can take them away from you. Now, this current saved, which we'll talk about all of these features and everything that you see here, just giving you an overview. You see that $18,773 or $737.02 is in my saved bucket. What does that mean? When you buy the trader, it defaults to save 100% of your money. So if it takes a dollar profit in trade, it dumps that dollar into the save bucket, and it takes the original the original capital that made that dollar and puts it back into the trader, so it keeps working. So being defaulted to 100%, when I started the simulation, I said, okay, I'm going to change it from 100% to 0, save 0. When it takes a profit, roll it back in. Some might call it compounding. About 3 months in, I said, okay, well, let me see what it does in savings, right? And that save profit, people go, okay, where does that money go? All of the money starts and stays in your exchange accounts, whether it's Coinbase or Kraken. The platform only has the authority to send buy and sell signals. That's it. Buy and sell orders. That's it. Your money is 100% controlled, as Attila said, and we'll mention it again. It sits in your account. For example, I use Coinbase. It sits in Coinbase. When I tell it to save a profit, it takes it out of the visibility of the trader. So I'm trading in USDC. It drops it back in USDC, and all of this money is not visible, meaning not being used by the trader, right? That is a great way you can live off the profits. You can do whatever you want. If you think it's going to be going into a bull market, you can put those profits back in and continue to grow and ride the wave up. Again, in the overview and the expectations, this platform has never seen a bull market. All it does is wiggle. It doesn't care whether it's bull or bear. When there's a lot of volatility, I call that a bull market within the trader. When it's low volatility, it's we're just collecting inventory. We'll talk about what that is But then you see down the bottom just today, it sold a lot of each one. When I say a single lot, it sold a lot of each one of these: Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, and Whiff. And you can see it: Bonk, Ondo, Whiff, and Pepe. So everything that you see in bold is a profit in your sleep. When it doesn't have a profit, it means it bought. So it's constantly buying and selling. If I go down, you'll see over the last couple of weeks, it's been buying a lot of inventory. And how do you know you have a lot of inventory? These little parentheses at the end tell you how many lots of each one that you have. Generally spread, the market cannot move 3% in either direction without it paying you, as you can see. So with that, I'll turn it back over.
Leave your screen up, Edward. Just leave your screen up for a second. I'll tell you why I need your screen up. There's two things I forgot to mention before I turn it over to Mr. Barsano that I'd like everybody to keep at the forefront of your mind. Number one, when we say set it and forget it, it truly, we really would like you to take that literally, because you could set this up in 10 minutes or less, forget about it. There's no screen time necessary, and you could now make money in your sleep. The best example I could give you is my business partner, Edward, who was just talking, is out of the country right now. He was certainly not awake at 4. What are those? Oh, I thought those were AM actually. No,
so if I go
AM.
back to the top, you'll see.
Here they are.
Yeah, so 4:36 AM twice, 4:54 AM and 4:57 AM. I know he was not up and awake. Okay, so this was done automatically while he
Well,
was.
that might have been about the time he just went to bed, right?
It could have been, yeah. So
True.
please take it literally. There's no interaction necessary, and that's back in 2012 when I met Mr. Barsano. That's the part that got me so jazzed, was the fact that I can make money in the stock market without doing a darn thing or even looking at a screen. That's a blessing. The second thing I'd like everybody to keep here at the forefront of your mind is just to understand clearly what this gentleman has brought forth to the world. Without anybody being an accredited investor, without anybody knowing anything about trading, without anybody knowing anything about crypto, you can now make money in your sleep. I mean, talk about leveling the playing field for the average person. It's never been done before. It's never been this easy. It's never been this possible. Edward and I just heard 3 weeks ago, one of the top podcasters for crypto, you all know his name if you're into it as much as Edward and I are, Raoul Pal, say that generating passive income or cash flow is a myth. It can't be done. He doesn't know about the trader, obviously. It can be done. It's been done for 25 years by the gentleman I'm about to introduce. So with that, Ed, we thank you so much for making time to join us every Wednesday here on behalf of Crypto Casey's audience. So I'm going to turn this over to you, and I know you've probably got some comments on some of the things Edward and I have said. And then
yeah, I got a whole page.
Okay. All right. It's all yours, buddy.
Well, I'm Ed Barsano, by the way, and I want to thank Crypto Casey for letting me speak to her audience. I appreciate that. She is a genius. I met her personally, and she blew me away. And when I met her, she said, you didn't have to dress up. And I'm like, yes, I did. You don't go meet the president or the queen and not dress up. I'm not gonna show up in jeans. Are you kidding me? Anyways, by the way, I'm not a genius like everybody says. I just drink smart water. So that's, they should pay me for that. I took a few notes on my Apple 101 device here. While you guys were talking. You said Edward, you said if it's not right for you. I heard that statement, you said maybe I don't know what the context.
Oh, I said if this is a very informative infomercial, if you will. It's not a sales pitch. We're not, my comment about if it's not right for you, I mean, it's right for a whole lot of people. It should be right for everybody.
If it's not, I like to say that's why I wrote that down. If it's not right for you, I really would like to hear why it's not right for you, because the whole idea of being in the market is to make money. That's what it's there for. It's not there for any other reason. Zero other reasons. So if it's not right for you, what are you thinking that makes it not right? And I've been doing this 25 years, and I like feedback. I like to hear the negative stuff. You know, I mean, most people are all positive, but I really want to hear the negative stuff. I want to hear, we're, you know, the the brainwash. Somebody wrote brainwashed. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear why, why you're opposed to something that is so great. And I like to, because there's so much misinformation out on the internet and all that. And people teaching classes, and the person teaching the class isn't even really trading, he's lying. There's so many scams out there. And unfortunately, you'd be surprised how many people are falling for those scams. Where somebody says, "Oh, we'll double your money every day or double your money every week." Those are scams. Nobody can do that. It's not even possible. I mean, if it could be done, I would be doing it. If I could double my money every week, I mean, I might double my money if the market does some crazy jump, yeah, I could double my money. And I mean, ACH, Alchemy Pay, last January went up from 2.2 cents to 5.6 cents in 4 or 5 days. That's 150% return in a couple days or 5 days. That can happen. But you can't plan on that. The software's planning in terms of it's prepping you for it. So if the coin does some crazy move, you're prepared to take the profit. But that's the best you can do. You can't force it.
Right.
So
Well,
that's
Ed, to that point, we spent the three of us spend a whole lot of time in the marketplace to understand what's on people's minds. And I told you from my position, people are programmed to believe that it's too good to be true. So I mean, and I
oh
think
yeah,
universally,
for
all three
sure.
of us can agree that the only negative we hear about this trader is from people that don't
Who
own the
don't own
trader.
an auto trader,
And
right?
once you understand, I mean, and we're around all the time. Crypto Casey is a very, very conservative person that has been in your life since 2017, teaching you little bits and pieces of how to be successful in the market. She and some of you maybe saw the last time that she joined us live, or have looked at some of the videos, the recordings, to hear the story directly from her. That when Attila and I first met with her and talked to her about this thing, and she knew more about the market, the crypto market, than we did. She didn't tell us at the time, but she walked away going scam, 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 scam. This can't exist. It doesn't exist. I've never seen it in the market, only to go by herself and buy the product at full retail price through almost a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks after we met with her, because she was so curious to prove us wrong that this thing didn't work or did work. And 3 months later, she used it, invested, put money into it. 3 months later, she came back and said, "We got to sit down and talk. This thing really does everything that you say it does and more. I've got to tell my audience about this." And that's when you started to hear about it about a year ago. And it's been nothing but great ever since. But there's still those skeptics, right? We get trolls on that leave comments on the videos that this can't exist or we're scams. I can't believe these guys are still taking it. They're all wrong. They're
Well,
all
I've been
wrong.
hearing that for 25 years.
Oh yeah,
Some
we've only
people,
been hearing
that's
it
what
for a
they
couple of
say. They
years,
don't
but
want to hear the evidence. They don't want to see it and all that.
well,
They're just programmed to say, if it sounds too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. And that's I feel bad for people that can't
yeah,
go
well, that's
past
kind of my
that.
comments up front. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, okay, we're not gonna, we're not,
Oh
we're
yeah,
not
we're
gonna,
not going to force anything down your throat for sure.
right.
All right. Then the next thing I wrote on here was, is that all you were going to say, Edward?
I'm just wondering how you back up that iPad.
Oh, this iPad does all the work for you. Right, right. you made the comment that the software does all the work for you, and that's exactly right. Yeah, like Attila said, you turn it on and you're done. I mean, the software runs on my servers, so it's already, there aren't a whole bunch of strategies. There's a strat, you turn it on and it cranks out money. I don't know what more you want. And there are settings, you can change some settings. Some people are more aggressive than others. Some people want to go into gamble mode a little bit more than others. Some want to be conservative. The software is right down the middle. It's aggressive when the market's going up, and it's conservative when the market's going down to preserve your money when things are going bad. But it's prepping you for when things do go up. And that was a comment I wrote on here. What most people expect. You know, when the average person, and you can think about it yourself, when you buy a coin or a stock, what are you thinking when you bought that? At the time you placed that order, in your mind, you're thinking it's going to go up, right? Think about that. You bought it at that time and you're saying that I'm going to buy it now because it's going to go up. The software is the opposite. The software is saying, this thing's gonna crash all the way to the bottom. That's why I love these smart water bottles. They're nice props. They're big, long bottles. When you buy it up here, you're thinking it's gonna go up, and the software's saying, all right, if it goes up, fine, I'll take some profit. No problem there. Nothing to think about there. But the software's planning for it to go all the way to the bottom. And it's planning for how to take advantage of it while it's going all the way to the bottom. On the wiggles, taking profits in perpetuity, constantly buying, selling, taking profits forever. So it doesn't care if it goes all the way down, but it's preparing you for that. Think of people that got in 4 years ago. They went all in October of 21. They put all their money in up there. The coins, some of the coins dropped 90%. 90%. I mean, that's like a $10 coin going all the way down to $1, or a 10-cent coin going down to a penny. And they're out of the game because they're literally, the coin can do all this wiggling. It doesn't matter because they don't have any money. They put it all in up here. They're waiting for the coin to go all the way back up there so they could break even. And while it's going up there, we're buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. It's like free money, man, forever. So they're out of the game because they're all in up there, but we're down here and we don't care where the price goes. I don't care if it's up here or down here. I'm gonna make the same amount of money while the coin wiggles up here as I am while it's wiggling down here. It doesn't matter to me. So I've got the market trapped. No matter where it goes, they have to keep paying me money. Can I share my screen real fast?
Yeah, if may I make one comment
Sure.
just on the heels of what you talked about? That's why if you look at this in March, from March until now, the market's been down almost another 60%. How is it if the market's down 60%? How does it crank out? We're running at a pace of almost 90% ROI for the year in a down market, right? And as soon as it snaps to the upside, an upside trend, who knows? I mean, I'm sure that all of these lots are going to sell off and it's going to run at over 100% ROI, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
The true testament is the fact that the market's been down over 90% since this software was released to the world, and it literally is making money. I mean, where else are you going to make this kind of money, right? How much money do you make in your bank account?
Free money.
What's your bank account pay you? 30, 40, 50% a year, somewhere in that neighborhood?
You wish.
0.01%. You're lending, what do you say, Ed? You're lending your money to the bank for free, only for them to lend it back to you on a credit card for 39%.
Yeah, it's
Change
an
it.
insult. It's an insult what they're doing to the
It
public.
is. It is. All right. I'm
Um,
gonna close my screen down and let me give you shareability as co-host.
oh, I
There
think
you
I
go.
have
You're all
share.
set. Nope, you
Okay.
didn't. You do
Did I
now.
get it?
Yep.
All right. So if I don't know how many people were already on here before and maybe have already seen the bucket in the well, but
It's worth seeing again.
It's worth seeing again. Because if you understand the concept, then you're home free. If you understand that I didn't create commerce, okay? Commerce has been around for 1,000 years. If you're running a store, you buy something at one price, you put it on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. That's totally legit, totally legal, totally acceptable by everybody. That's how all business is done. You buy something at one price and you sell it at a higher price. Okay? So if you look at this, if you look at let's just look at the price. Let's just start at the top. Okay, right here. If the price is up here and it goes down a little and you buy, and it goes up a little and you sell and take profit, you just keep doing that, just like a 7-Eleven or a Quick Mart or any store, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Albertsons. They buy something at one price and they sell it at a higher price. Now, in the crypto market, we can hold that one that's underwater for a while. Don't worry about it. And even that next one. But the action is down here, so they got to keep paying us here. The coin can never go up 3% without giving us money. Think of that. And if it goes lower, it's okay. We buy more down here. Now it can't go up 3% again. And as long as the coin stays in business, that means doesn't go to zero. They just got to keep paying us until we die, and there's nothing they can do to stop us. Literally, there's nothing they can do to stop us. You analyze it. I don't care. How many of you are professors? Analyze it because it's just common sense. And it's just free money for life. And this video right here just shows you you're never gonna stop taking money. And a well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory that's underwater. It's okay because when the coin does jump up, like say this coin jumps up 30% or 20%, you're gonna sell all these off at 30% higher. When it jumps up right now. It goes up there, you just sold off that one, and that one all at once. So you've got the market trapped. And many of you have already heard me say it. I feel like what I'm doing here feels kind of illegal. I don't know. It just feels weird that I can take this free money and nothing anybody can do to stop me. And I'm not even gambling. That's the beauty of it. I'm not even taking any risk. What is the risk? There's only one risk. That coin goes out of business. That's it. But let's look. Cryptos versus stocks. Let's talk about that for a minute. I was talking to somebody the other day in a bank, so they're going to be very opinionated, you know. And right away they said, well, cryptos aren't FDIC, insured. And I said, well, I think the cash held in Coinbase is FDIC insured. Am I right?
Coinbase now
Yeah.
uphold secures your funds up to 2.5 million. So the
Well, there you go.
bank's lying.
Yeah. So, so that was false. And then also what I thought was real interesting is when that person made that comment is I was thinking to myself, wow, when's the last time I ever cashed in on that FDIC insurance? Never. It's like, so all right, you can throw that away. I've never even heard of anybody ever cashing in on FDIC insurance. It's a bogus insurance plan. And when am I ever going to cash in on that? I mean, so, it's hardly going to stop me from trading crypto in the first place, for an insurance plan that I never use, that I have never used in my life, and that I don't even know anyone that's ever used it. Even in all those market crashes, I never heard of anybody cashing in on FDIC insurance. So that's bogus, you know. And then what else? What else was said? Oh gosh, I mean, they're just. I mean, any negative thing you can say about cryptos, you could say the same thing about stocks. Oh, you don't own the actual coin. That's what I heard, what she said. You don't own the coin. In the stock market, you own a portion of the company. But in the cryptos, you don't own a portion of the company. So I'm thinking, all right, how much Intel of that company, how much of Intel would I own if I bought $1,000 worth of Intel stock of a multi-billion-dollar company? How much would I own, actually own in that company? Does it matter that I own it? Did I buy it in order to own it? If I'm running a 7-Eleven, did I buy Heinz because I want to sell their ketchup? I could care less. I don't need to own the company. I'm here to just, I don't care about the company. I'm here to transact. I'm here to buy something at one price and sell it at a higher price. I don't even want to own the company. God, I don't even know what responsibility would come with owning that company. I don't want to own the company, and you don't own it anyways. If Intel went out of business, do you really think you're going to get your $1,000 back after all the other creditors are paid? Goodbye. If you believe that, then we need to have a couch session. I don't know, because you're not going to get your money back when these markets crash. You get nothing back. You know, I mean, all the excuses were just bogus. It's like, and I'm here to I'm here to buy and sell, buy and sell. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to buy and sit on something forever and act like I own the company. So, there's really no difference between cryptos and stocks. All right? There's only one difference. Cryptos move up and down 20 times more than stocks. Stocks move like this, their prices. See that wave? Cryptos move like this. Chung, 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 chung. They're going up and they jump around. Stocks
like erratic heartbeats.
around. Stocks move around. Cryptos jump around, and that's gold to an auto trader. Because when that coin jumps up like that, the auto trader says, "Sell all that inventory. I got all this inventory right here," and the coin price jumps up here. The software says, "Sell all that." Go on. Thank you. Whereas in the stock market, you're gonna might sell one of them, and then it's gonna take a month before a stock price will go down and stay down there for a month. Cryptos aren't like that. So cryptos are way better than stocks. And another thing is, somebody else mentioned that cryptos are like penny stocks, and right away I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Penny stocks are really, the price is really low, like a penny, because the company is garbage or so new that they're not really established enough they're not really worth more than a penny. These crypto coins are going for a coin that should be going for $2 or even $20 a share is going for a penny. That's the beauty. These prices have come down so much. The whales, the wealthy, have pushed these coins down so much so they could load up at the bottom. And I know that's what's going on because I've been doing this for 20 years. I see the game. Every time we have a big crash, we see what happens. They drive the prices all the way down, and then the average guy, I used to call him the little guy, but really it's just the average guy, panics and sells out. Or a coin will go so far down, the market's crashing. Some of you may have heard it. Some of your relatives or friends, they say, "Get out, you're being made a fool of. None of this stuff is even real. You're going to lose everything." And then you panic and sell everything off at the bottom. And the whales, the wealthy, are just throwing like $30 million into each coin. They're loading up like crazy. And man, what's beautiful about us is we're loading up. See my finger? Each one is buy that same coin, buy it again at a lower price, buy it again at a lower price. Now, of course, we're buying and selling as it wiggles around, just like you see in this bucket in the well here. The difference, you see the bucket in the well, if that was water, it couldn't do what we're doing. Because we don't, with the cryptos, we can buy it and then it doesn't have to go all the way down. Just buy it and then sell it a little higher and take profit and just keep taking, save all that profit. Just keep taking profit. Whereas a bucket in a well with water, the bucket must go all the way down and it must go all the way up to jump out the water. It can't stop halfway down and then go back up. It'll come back up with an empty bucket. It has to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
Whereas the crypto market, it doesn't have to go down to the bottom. All it has to do is wiggle down, up, down, up, down, up. Free money, free money, free money, free money until you die. It's almost criminal. I'm telling you, I've been doing
Actually,
it so long.
actually, correction. When you die, the trader doesn't stop.
Yeah, right. The trader will keep going forever, you know, on my servers until your account expires, and then you'll be a buy and holder of all those coins. But as long as you have an auto trader, you're just going to take money out of the market forever. Literally for the rest of your life, you're just going to keep taking free money. People go crazy trying to figure out where to find more money to put in there. I've heard people say I'm selling all my rental properties to get all that money and put it in. I know someone that he sold his anesthesiologist business for a few million, and he runs a couple auto traders with a few $1 million. I know others that have multi-million-dollar accounts, you know, multiple accounts. Um, People are going crazy. I even put a video on the website and I said, don't mortgage your house, because so many people were actually calling me saying, hey, you know, my loan's almost through, you know, and I'm like, no. It just scares me, you know. I mean, it doesn't scare me that they're going to lose their money or anything. I just don't like the idea that you already had your house paid off. And I know some people are sitting in there paying off a house for their whole life. 30 years they're paying off that house. And I'm like, if you had your house paid off, leave it paid off. I just hate to think that you're mortgaging it or getting a second mortgage or whatever, you know. But, you know, I know what I understand what you're doing. You know, you're getting a low cost mortgage, throwing it into an auto trader that cranks out almost 100% a year or more, you know. So I get the concept. It just feels a little weird. Um, so the counterculture, you know, somebody mentioned counterculture.
That was me.
All right. Yeah, it is counterculture because it's what the software is doing. And because I've been doing it for 25 years, it's got so much code in it, that so many millions of lines of code and so many programs, and it's got AI in there working, and it's got so much in it that it's just like I said, I make it look so simple. It's just there it is. Give me money. Just keep taking money forever. And where it's a violation of what most people think is possible. So I've been hearing the negative stuff forever. I actually did a webinar once. I'm not a webinar before crypto, or before COVID. I mean, before COVID, I used to present every Saturday in a different city in front of a different audience, which sounds crazy, doesn't it? I mean, I was literally every Friday I would fly out to some city, Houston, Texas, Portland, Oregon, anywhere, Tampa, you know, anywhere, Miami, West Palm Beach. I mean, I presented every Saturday in front of a different audience, and 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 listened to all the people. And 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 one time I put up a slide of all the negative stuff people said. Well, if that was real, he wouldn't be giving it to you. Why wouldn't I be giving it to you? Why? I mean, if anybody has an answer for that, please feel free to post it in the chat. I'm curious of why you would think I wouldn't be giving it to you if it was real. Why? Does it hurt me to give it to you? Isn't it you that helped me create this? Wasn't it you, the people, that helped me all the way back in 2000 when I got hammered and lost 60% of my wealth? And I said I'm gonna punish the market for doing that, and I'm gonna give it auto traders to everyone. But it was the people that started sharing their strategies with me, and not only, and granted, most of the strategies shared were wrong and would lose money. But my auto trader had 10 screens of things you could do. 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up is how I put it nowadays. But at the time, I wanted to know what everyone else knows, educate me, and the people were very willing to do that. to share their strategy. Say, Ed, here's what I'm doing manually to make money. It turns out they had a manual strategy that loses money. So then when they automate it, they had an automated trader that loses money. And, it's okay. We learned over the years, and I got rid of all that misinformation. I got rid of all the stuff that doesn't work. That's my, somebody said once, why, you're telling me all this good stuff. How about telling me some of the bad stuff? Hey, man, there was tons of bad stuff over the last 25 years. I got rid of all of it. If I knew of a bad thing right now, I would get rid of it. So it's hard to talk about bad stuff because there is no bad stuff. I can't think of anything bad. The software has been getting better and better. If you think about it, I programmed in the Navy for 8 years, then 2 years in nuclear engineering for the government, and then 9 years at Microsoft, almost 9 years. And I must have worked on God knows how many different projects in all those companies, right? But for the last 25 years, I only worked on one project, conquer the market, which is amazing that you could dedicate. When you're retired, baby, you got all the time in the world to focus on one thing. I live and breathe this market. I live inside the software. I know everything that can go wrong in the software. Well, you know what's beautiful about programming? Some of you may be programmers, so you'll be able to relate to this. You don't have to remember rules. You type in a rule, you say, oh, I saw how they tried to rob me there. Okay, well, let's fix that. So there, program that. So now when that happens again, the software is ready for it. They cannot rip me off again, and with that scam. So the software has so many things built into it to prevent you being robbed. So there's nothing they can do that the software hasn't seen. And that's why when we think about AI has been around since 1955. I don't know if you know that. But you would have needed a mainframe to use it. I've been programming AI since 1989, since my Microsoft days. And then all my auto traders, since my auto trader, this one and the previous one, always had AI in it. And I never bragged about it because to me, it's just everyday thing. Of course I would have AI in the software. Why wouldn't I? And nobody else ever had AI in any traders. There were no traders. I never had a competitor until the last couple of years. All of a sudden, all these bots, I think they call them bots. What's a bot? A widget? I mean, a bot is something that I've been doing a little research. They set some rules and then, and that's it. When that rule hits, that's it. That's what it does. That's not a living, breathing thing like the auto trader. The auto trader is like it's it's got so many things it's looking at, and it calls AI and says, do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? So the software is making all these decisions based on all of what it sees, but then it's also talking to the AI back and forth, which an AI is pattern recognition, and so the software can say, I want to buy more if the price is going lower. What do you think, AI? AI says, hold on, don't buy it yet. It looks like it's going to go lower. So then the software will wait and let it go a little lower. And then it'll call AI again and say, do you think it's going to go lower now? And the AI says, no, I don't think it's going to go lower. Okay, I'll buy now. I'll buy at that point. And then, so I'm letting it go down 10% more before I buy. So even though your strategy is set to add on a 3% drop, the AI is saying, hold on, don't buy on a 3% drop right now. This market's crashing. Let it go down 7% more. So it's really cool. So if you compare my AI with the AI that these other people have just popped up with in the last year or two, it's like a 25-year-old competing with a 2-year-old. They don't have a prayer. And why do I say that? Because the 2-year-old AI cannot know what happened 17 years ago. It hasn't seen the patterns. It hasn't seen all the things that the market can throw at you. And believe me, there's a lot of things the market can throw at you to throw curves at you, to mess you up. And the people, if you're doing manual trading out there, you're getting killed. You don't even realize you're being robbed every day, all day. I mean, you're floating limit orders in public view, and professional traders, There are professional traders that only look at your orders, and that's all they look at to trade. Did you know that? That's all they look at. You put a limit order at the exchange and say, if the price goes here, I want to sell it. Okay, well, then you put the order out there, and now they're saying, like the first time I discovered that, I sat in a prop house. That's a professional trading house with all these professional traders sitting behind these desks and or tables with computers on them. And I remember buying some Microsoft. And this is all the way back in 2001. And I said, and I'm very vocal, and I said, hey, I bought some Microsoft. How do I know when to sell it? And I just threw that right out to the whole room. Everybody could hear me because that's how vocal I am. Hey, I just bought some Microsoft. How do I know when to sell it? And somebody came up on my right shoulder and he goes, that's easy. See that guy's order right there? Sell it right under him. So if you set your profit goal up here, he told me to sell mine right under you, so it never reaches your goal. So the professional, you put a limit order out there, and it's sitting out there you're thinking you told the exchange, if the price goes to this number, sell my stock or my crypto at that price. The professional traders are buying and selling like crazy under you. And they're never going to let it hit your price because they're buying and selling right under you. And they won't let it go to that price. Because if I have a chance to buy it at a lower price, I'm going to buy it. So it never goes up there. They're just jerking with you, and you don't even know it, man. I mean, you can't hold down the market forever. You know, it's going to blow through there eventually, maybe, or it's going to dry up all the buyers and head down for a while, you know. And it's like, if you didn't, this auto trader hides all of its orders. So we're invisible. Nobody even knows. I used to say it goes right through my goal like hot butter, man. There's no pause because we're not, we're hiding everything we're doing. There's so many tricks in the market that they're pulling on us, on the public, and I feel bad for the public. They're just being made fools of. And and the reason, so what do you do when you every time you're trying to do stuff, you realize it doesn't work. I mean, I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, how many people have lost money in the market? They just keep losing and losing. And they go, oh, I can't do it. I don't know how to day trade, and I don't know how to do this. Well, yeah, I don't care what you may know how, but you're making fatal mistakes that are costing you money. You may be the best distance runner in the world, but if you keep stepping in potholes, then you're not going to win. And that's what's happening. You're running through a minefield, man, and you don't realize it. You may have a beautiful strategy, but you don't know it because they're shooting at you while you're trying to run. I mean, it's criminal what's going on. I hate to say it all like that. And I make all this stuff up. Edward knows. I just
Yeah,
made
oh yeah.
that
Well,
up,
I
right?
just had this, Ed, I just had this thought bubble. Could you imagine if universities taught this in finance
Oh,
class?
it would be beautiful. You know why? It wouldn't even hurt anything. Some people say, well, if there's a winner, there's always a loser. It's like, no, that's not true. If I want a loaf of bread and I go to a store to buy the bread and I buy the bread, I benefited because I wanted the bread. The store benefited because they bought the bread at a lower price and sold it to me at a higher price. We both won. You don't have to be, there doesn't have to be a winner and a loser. That's the thing. The only loser is the guy that's selling at a loss. Then he lost. He did a manual trade because somehow he just thought that the coin was going to keep going
Yeah,
down
good,
forever.
good time to bring up your trader because I just had we do mention this and sometimes I forget is that one of the most beautiful things, and there's so many things positive to talk about the trader, but it's programmed to never sell at a loss, ever. The only way that you lose money with a trader and stop yourself from a lifetime of an ATM of you is if the coin goes out of business, which is a rarity, or you manipulate the system. The system comes
Right.
completely defaulted, optimized over 25 years, and continues to be optimized by Ed and his team on a daily basis. I always say, Attila always says, set it and forget it, meaning it's already set for you. Connect it and forget it. Ed, you mentioned earlier that there are parameters that you can change I'm going to say, yes, there are, because we're all semi-adults. But I'm telling you emphatically, do not change any settings.
Now, I used to
Period.
debate. I used to debate with Attila on this subject all the time. I'm like, go ahead and make a few changes. What's the big deal? I
No,
mean,
no.
it's gonna hurt. But I didn't realize what I failed to realize is when I make a change to my strategy, I know intimately what I'm affecting.
Right,
Intimately.
right.
But if you go in and start randomly changing stuff, you don't know what you're really messing up.
Yeah,
You don't realize you're destroying yourself. And I used to have my old system used to have 10 screens of things you could change. And remember, I called it 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
it'd be
but
like you got a new car, and the first thing you did is you popped open the hood on that car and grabbed your screwdriver and stuck it in the carburetor and started turning that screw. Why? Why are you messing with what ain't broke? You know?
yeah, I mean,
So
but you've made the perfect machine. So why mess with it? I look at it from, I'm a user, right? And what do you say? We eat our own dog food, right? It's not like we're
T-Bomber
telling you
says that
we're not
when it comes to
right. We're not
Windows.
we're not telling you to go do something that we're not already doing, but we're enthusiastic about telling you the story because it's been successful for us. And if you've seen in the chat, you've seen the stories of the people that are here of their own volition that decided to get the trader, decided to improve their financial. And I can tell you psychologically, when I did this, when I jumped in, I went, okay, I'm going to do it. There's too much compelling evidence to do it, but I always had this little nag in the back of the back of my brain because everybody's heard it. If it's too good to be true, it's got to be too good to be true. But I tell you, in this case, it's not. But where else? And here's my little argument about debasement of money. I just heard a crazy fact yesterday. The U.S. government prints into circulation every single day approximately $440 million of new money in circulation. What does that do? Every time they do that, it is what's called debasement. It dilutes the value and drops the value of the purchasing power of your money, right? If they're doing that collectively over time, and on the other side, they tell you, oh, inflation's too high at 2.3%. BS. If anybody's been out under the rock or out to the store, you know that prices are going up faster than that. No, by the way, the scam system of a debt-based system has built into it for its own success against you. It has inflation built into it. But if you consider the inflation and the debasement, if you're not making 20% on your money a year, this is scary. If you're not making 20% on your money a year, then you are just getting broke slowly. It's so rigged against you on purpose because what are you taught to do all the
Save.
way through school? What are you taught to do? Go to school, get a job, trade time for money. You're selling all your money, a whole bunch of your entire life to collect a little bit of money to make other people rich. I can tell you, turn the
And they're
tables
not even
upside
giving you
down.
good options either, you know,
Nope.
5% bonds and stuff like that. It's just
No,
garbage. Just
no.
garbage.
So everybody, by default, unless you're out there doing something, earning more than 20% on your money with a whole lot of risk, then you're just going broke slow and giving all of your time away. This, I always say, the most powerful thing that hit me about this, not only the nits and noids of all we talk about, but when I talk about buying back my time, we can all make money. This makes it for you, right? And the more you put in, the more it makes, the more cash flow. Where can you cash flow? Where can you put your job, your money to work for you in a job? You're given still a little bit of Attila's thunder. It's our responsibility to give our money a job. Where are you going to? You work so hard for it. You trade all of your time. You only have 2 days a week to squeeze in, and by that time, you've got so many things to do around the house. How much time are you actually taking for yourself? What this does for me, and it does for a lot of people out there, is it buys their time back. We can make all the money in the world or lose all the money in the world and make it back. I can tell you, I've been a millionaire 3 times over, And I kept giving it away because I didn't figure out the secret. The
Well,
secret
that's what
is something
everybody's
that
trying to do. You're looking on the internet for systems or whatever. How can I make more money? Well, this is the ultimate savings account.
it's
I'm going to tell you, because I talk to so many people. People are whatever else they have going on in their life, the money eventually flows into the auto trader because this is the one place you can park it and watch it grow on its own. Like even these trades today. You know what? I don't look at my traders all week, so I don't know what they're doing all week. Like I didn't know I made all this money on, each day, here, look at all this money on 925. It sold that on 925 here. 926, it sold that one on 927. Oh, it was doing one a day. 928, that's pretty funny. And then 928, it sold a couple, but it bought one. And then 930, which is yesterday, it bought a couple, and it didn't even sell anything yesterday. But then today, it sold three of them. Look at that! All three times I was still sleeping. I'm kidding, except that 1038 one. But I mean, it's cool. I don't even think about the market anymore. I know that my robotic trader is going to take all the money the market is willing to give it. I can sit up here. When I look at the trader, what's the first thing I looked at? The first thing I looked at really was up here, today's move. And you can click on these headings like today move, and it'll actually take you to frequently asked questions. It says, what does today move mean? And it'll tell you what it is. I mean, each thing has each description, today's profits taken. If I click on that, it tells me what that means. So it's easy, it's an easy system to use. Plus I have view videos on every page. But the first thing I look at like was today's move. I want to know, is the market an up day or a down day? If it's a down day, more than likely it's going to be a buy day. That means I'm going to be buying. It's kind of like a 7-Eleven. Again, I didn't invent commerce. It runs exactly like a 7-Eleven. You fill up the shelves and then you sell it all off. And then you fill up the shelves again. If I sit here and if I scroll through these trades, look on the lower right here. You can see the sells there, and then you can see the buys, the ones where there's no price, where you're loading up the shelf again. You don't want everything to go straight up. If it goes straight up, you sell off all your inventory, then what are you going to do? You want a market that wiggles. And that's what the software does. Look, buying and selling, buying and selling. You can have, I mean, look at that. Look at it on 821, 822, 823, just all this free money. I mean, literally free money. And then look at it, 826, 827 here, all buying. You think, oh no, it's the end of the world. I mean, when you're not selling like that, people go, right away, they're like, oh my God, what's going on? Hey, you're filling the shelves. What's the big deal? You're going to sell it all off. Don't worry about it. You're going to have crazy days where you're just selling it all off. Where, I mean, it's just numbers going up and down, folks. Everybody's way overthinking this stuff. And
Hey Ed, let me ask you,
that's where it's therapy for me.
how much time did you have to spend behind the screen to make all that money?
Nothing. Actually, the other day, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Attila was saying, you made this much, you took this total profit over here on the left. And I said, I didn't take that. And, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, I didn't take that. And he said, what do you mean? It shows it right there. And I said, no, I took this over here, these little amounts, and they added up to that. They added up to 100% a year profits, which you can't even get that kind of return in businesses out there. Where do you get this kind of free money? I mean, it's the ultimate savings account, which blows my mind all the time that when I'm doing a webinar and everybody doesn't sign up, I'm like, man, it's like, what part of free money do you not get? Or it's either that or you're thinking it can't be real, even though I'm showing all this evidence.
Yeah,
This is
I told
nothing
you at the
more than a
beginning, told
7-Eleven.
you we were going to show you factual stuff. Here's the facts. Here's the facts. Now, Mr. Barsano has multiple traders deployed, right? If you looked at his largest trader, which he doesn't have up, let me just give you some overall stats, and you can call us on this. We'll provide the evidence, whatever the case may be. This trader has been operational for less than 4 years. Less than 4 years. It's running at a pace,
It's only
not
been
all,
running for a couple of years,
right, not all at once,
couple of years.
over time. This is we like to say this is a life trading.
Hmm.
If I said to you, listen, give me $1 and I'll give you three back. How many dollars are you going to give me? All of them. That is the example of this trader. Yes, a little bit more complicated, but still complicated to Ed. You don't have to do anything. Over time, over the 3.5, less than 4 years, in was it? It's October 1st. So I think you started with your first account December 19th, 2021. So in December 19th, 2025, that will be 4 years. In that 4 year time, not every year, not all at once, not had good months, bad months, but it kept wiggling and taking profits. It 5x'd his money, 5x, 5x'd his money in less than 4 years. Now it runs that the results are not big. They're not Ed Barsano's results. They're the results of the way that the trader has been programmed. Again, it never sells at a loss. It collects inventory, and I love the simplicity of it's simple commerce. You own a store without the bricks and mortar and the people and the headaches. You buy inventory, you put it on the shelf.
I'm running a 7-Eleven. You can look at each item. What is that item right there? I could call that Monster Drinks. I can call
Potato
this
chips.
one here Vapes, Dogecoin. I can call that Vapes. This one's potato chips. This one's candy bars. Whatever. If you ever walk into a 7-Eleven, look at what people are buying. You know, they're not, I guarantee you, none of these items are iodine, Lysol,
Well, they could
Band-Aid.
be, they could be iodine and band-aids if you don't have the trader and you're trying
If
to
you
make
don't
money.
have the trader, yeah, because we have the highest trade count report. If you ever sat down, stop and I mean, look at this. Just for example, Bonk. I just brought this up just before I signed on to this Zoom.
And
I
that's in the last
I went
week.
into Coin Market Cap and Bonk was there. I mean, when the price went up here, anything you own below it sold off. So that's why when the prices go down and people panic on these downs, and you notice how they go straight down and straight up, they're wiggle line, they're straight up and down lines. That's what I love about the crypto market as opposed to stocks. When the coins jump down like that, people actually panic. I get phone calls from people and text messages and emails. Ed, should I stop my auto trader from buying because the market's going down so much? I'm like, no, the biggest money you're going to make is the stuff you're buying at the bottom. This is where the whales are loading up like crazy. Look at that straight up line. When it did that, you just sold off if you were holding any inventory, you sold it all off. All that inventory you bought down here, you sold off. I mean, then think about this. If you were sitting at a 7-Eleven, we're gonna go into this, what Edward calls the $1 billion report. Think about it. Yeah, I've never opened a 7-Eleven, but I'm gonna guess that once you have your building and your parking situation and your lights, your lighting outside your store, your 7-Eleven sign, and all the shelves, then you're gonna have to figure out what products do I want to sell in this 7-Eleven. Now I'm just guessing, but I assume you're gonna sit down with a distributor. The guy that's gonna be bringing all this stuff to you, and he's gonna say, well, here's a list of all the products, and here's the ones that move the most. Like I said, Monster drinks, candy bars, vapes, the stuff that they peddle a lot. You sell a lot of these every day. And then the further down you can see they say, well, in the last year you'd have sold 1,023 of those closed trades profitably. And it's showing you how many trades, the biggest movers up here. Now look at that, 1,023. Now if I go to the bottom of the report, I'm going to see the stuff that you don't sell much of. You know, like iodine, Lysol, Band-Aids. You're going to sell these, 2 a month, 3 a month, 3 a month, or 38 in a year. These, to me, that's all junk coins. You just don't sell enough of them. I don't want to trade this stuff. Now, when I automated the crypto market 4 years ago and I started, and over the last 4 years, I discovered what some people do because they share with me. Everybody shares with me what they're doing. And what I discovered they've been doing for the last 6, 7 years is they've been just buying these junk coins or all the coins. They're just buying and buying. Every month they throw more money into these coins and they're thinking, yeah, I'm going to get rich someday. And I'm like, yeah, but you're sitting on all these non-moving coins. If you're trading, they don't even move. Do I really want to trade a coin that'll give me 138 trades in a year when I could be trading the coins at the top of the report? 1,023, 958 trades, 785 trades. And this is in a down market. Understand that. The market has been going down. By the way, one bottle's gone. One more bottle left before the end of the webinar. So, so we've been in a downtrend for the last 4 years, and the software's been accumulating inventory the whole time. That's what's good about. Look at each finger and call it one buy. Say I buy a coin and then it goes higher and I sell it, and then I buy it again and I buy it and buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, but then it goes lower and I buy it again. Now I'm holding that loser and I got another one now. Now it'll go up and down and I'll buy and sell at this level for a while. And then if it goes lower, I'll buy again. Well, a well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory, a lot of negative inventory. That's beautiful. You know why? Because when that coin jumps 20%, or I had L3, one coin where is the coin market cap? I had L3. Let's take a look at it. I bought L3 in one of my other traders, and about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. Where is it? It popped. Where did L3? There it is. It popped on 8/29. And on the same day it went right back down. It came all the way down halfway, and then the next day it went all the way down to the bottom again. So it went up 50%, and then it went down 50%, which is beautiful because everything I owned here that I was sitting on, inventory that I bought down here that I didn't sell, it just sold it all off at a beautiful 50% gain. And because it popped straight up, you notice no jagged lines on that line going up? Because it just appeared there 50% higher. The trader said, fine. See all this inventory? It sold it all off at once, 50% higher. Beautiful. And then it went right back down. I'm like, thanks for the free money. I mean, it's just, I call the market an insult to humanity, but amazingly, everywhere I go, I talk crypto. Everywhere. I could be in line in a store and I got people in front of me and people behind me, and right here in the middle of this, we got a discussion about crypto going. And I'm amazed that they're completely checked out. Most people are not in crypto. And now I've heard a statistic not too long ago, a few weeks ago, I think I heard it, maybe from you, Edward. You said 92% of the people are out of crypto and only 8% are in. But what I discovered is of the 8% that are in, they're all doing it wrong. So they may be in. What does in mean? They bought a bunch of crypto? They're not in. They just bought a bunch of crypto and they're sitting on it. And because the market's been going straight down, they bought it all up here and they don't own anything down here, which means the coin's going up and down, but they're not making any money. It's like a drawer full of silver dollars. It's only good if silver's going higher. If silver goes lower, which it will do, and it'll drop all the way down here, and then you're missing all the wiggles again because you're sitting on the coin in the drawer. And if you're not, and if you're a buy and holder, you're really dead, because even when it hits your target, like Bitcoin, it went to 120,000 a few months ago, came back down all the way down to 99,000, and now it's back up to, I think, 117,000. What did it say in the trader down here? Yeah, 117,000. It shows it there. So I just put that on there like an index just so I could see what it's doing. I'm not trading Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on line 359 of the highest trade count report. I don't want any part of it. I mean, I don't want to trade a coin that gives me, where is it? Look at how far down it is. Man, I'm just scrolling down, 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 down. I mean, Bitcoin's all the way down here. 109 trades in a year, when I could be trading coins that give me 1,000 trades in a year. To me, it's a no-brainer. For some people, it doesn't seem to be a no-brainer. I don't get it. You know, but math was always my favorite subject in school. So maybe I'm seeing something that the average guy's not seeing. It's not physics, it's not engineering or anything. You know, I mean, it's just third grade math. I
Well,
mean, do you want a
let me say
thousand
this.
trades or do you want 109 trades? You know, my granddaughter, when I was giving her, you know, when you visit the grandkids, you give them some money. I mean, she's real little. She's like 4 years old, 4 or 5. She she when I was gonna give her some money, she said, "I want the one that has 100 on it." I couldn't believe it. You're not getting $100 bill. No way. But I almost died when she said that. That was so funny.
Listen, Ed, you know,
She's a 4-year-old and gets it.
I spend a lot of time thinking about all that you put into this and what it's become and blossomed into something. Quite frankly, I would challenge you that you didn't know how well this would work over time, but you learned so much. You refine, and you continue to refine. I can tell you
I
my
watched it get
reflection.
better over the years. I watched it get better as I took away all the misinformation that everybody was trying to do, all the bad
Yeah,
stuff. I took
yeah.
all the technical indicators, 27 indicators, right out of the book from technical analysis from A to Z. For those of you who are interested in that, go to eBay and buy the book. It's not very much. It's called Technical Analysis from A to Z. It's got MACD, Relative Strength Index, stochastic, all that in it. And it says whether they're bullish or bearish based on what their settings are. I took all that and threw it in the AI. AI is masterful at pattern recognition. So I took it away from the trader and I told the trader, I want you to chase that money. I don't want that market to breathe without giving me money. I don't want them to be able to push that coin up without giving me money. I don't want them to be able to push it down without me buying more. I want them trapped in this box. Everywhere they
Yeah.
go, they're trapped. And
I'm
that's
going to
what
give you
I
something to
want
think
them
about.
to keep paying me till I die. And again, even though it feels a little weird that I'm taking all this free money, I'm still not. I analyze the heck out of it. I'm not violating any laws.
Let me
Nobody
give you
said you
something.
can't buy something at one price and sell it at a higher price. The difference is I'm doing proper money management and risk management.
Let me give you something to think about. So, and this is a reflection that I think you'll pick up on, maybe not now, but you'll be thinking about it later when you jot it down in your iPad 101.
Oh, you want to give me something to think about?
Oh,
Okay, let me get
I'm
the
going to give
iPad.
you something to think about. So I've thought about this from an angle. What you've done in the refinement of this over the 25 years, right? You said it earlier, but I'm gonna condense it into something that made sense to me. You learned all of this stuff in the market, all of this giant basket of stuff that people were doing wrong. You've identified them one by one, removed all of the bad stuff. It's like refining gold. You keep scraping off the crap. You keep scraping off the crap, and it gets more and more pure. You've turned you've turned the market into pure goodness because you've identified all of the manipulation points. And if anybody doesn't believe that the stock market, the commodities market, the crypto market is not manipulated, then you need to get some ice and put it on the bump on your head.
Hey,
What you've
Edward.
done,
No,
Ed,
don't
is
say that. People
you've
don't
refined
know.
it to a
You know what?
point.
I can't change the light bulb, man, on my
Yeah,
car.
but tell me I'm wrong. You've identified all of the things that that people are manipulated about in this market, and you've removed them in the trader, so it just makes money.
Hey, Edward,
Yes.
let me say things differently. This is just in reference to the book that you just mentioned that people should buy, Ed, the book you mentioned a few minutes ago. You know when I'm going to buy that book and read it? When
Never.
chicken have teeth. You know
Yeah, there's no
why?
use
Hold
in it,
on,
right?
hold on. I'll tell you why. Because I have an auto trader. I don't need to read a boring book like that. That's not me. I'm not a technical guy. I would never go near a book like that. I
That's
bought
true.
this from you in 2012, your stock trader version, because my buddy asked me a question and he said, Attila, how would you like to make money in the stock market without doing a darn thing? That's what appeals to the masses, I believe. I'll never read a book like that. I don't want to read a book like that.
No, that's
I
true.
just want it done
All
for me.
right, I stand corrected. I think no, you're right. And that's the thing. I tend to forget that other people aren't spending 25 years doing one thing to
Yeah.
Yeah,
conquer the
no.
market.
No.
I tend to forget that, that everybody can't do that.
That's okay. We'll bring you
How many
back down to
times have I
earth.
fallen off a ladder? Multiple times. I mean, I'm an idiot, man. I'm an
Hey,
idiot
dude,
when it
we
comes.
don't.
I can't even barely change the filters in the house without falling off the ladder. My wife holds the ladder. It's like he's gonna fall. I know he is.
Well, let me give you some advice that keeps benefiting us all. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Hire somebody to change the light bulb, please.
Yeah, really. We need you safe.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
But
right.
Ed.
somebody, do you want to walk through the trader real fast and just
Yes, I did promise
quickly?
everybody that I gave them a flyby. Can you give them some detail, and then I think we slide into the Q&A.
Okay, so what's happening here? Let me explain how the market works, everybody. You have your open positions. Remember what I said, you're buying positions, and if they go lower, you're adding more. So this position is down 52,000 of open inventory, right? But I've taken 150,000 in profits off the table from the wiggles. They can never get this back. Never. Because if the coin goes out of business, the most they get, my market value is only 53,000. They can't take, so that 150,000 is mine forever. And the beauty is that coin went from 12 cents to where's it at? 18.9. It was at 0.017 cents yesterday. I mean, I know it's going to go back to 2 cents easily. But in any case, the coin's all the way down here, the price, from up here to down here. Now, I get emails from people all the time. The biggest issue I get from people 3 times a day, because I have thousands of users, I'm going to get it at least 3 times a day. I can expect it. And I already, and you're just going to get a pat answer, all right? I'm sorry, folks. I'm not going to reinvent the answer because I've already written it so many times. So, and the answer is, you're, if you, they want to put all their money in initially at the top. They're just so eager to get that all that money in because they think that that's the answer. And again, what did I say? Most people, when they buy a coin, they think they're in their mind it's going to go up. But the software's saying, I can't put all that in at once. If I do that and the coin drops down here, I have no money to make any money on the wiggles. And that's where the money is, not buying all at once. If you buy all at once and it goes up, you think you found the Holy Grail. Well, go to Vegas, go to the roulette wheel, put all your money on 00 and spin that wheel. Do you think you're going to win? More than likely, it's not going to hit 00. But if it does that one time, you're going to go, wow, I put all my money on 00 and it went straight up. I'm the best. No, you got lucky. You just got lucky that happened to happen at one time. This is why millions of people lose money in the market is they're putting it all in up there and they're not looking at where the coin might go. The auto traders are saying, hey, you know what? That coin could drop 90%. I want to trade no matter where the price goes. And that's what makes this a money machine for life. They can't stop me. They can't stop this closed positions P&L from going up forever. I mean, look at this one. I find it entertaining because I've taken 55,000 in profits, but the open inventory is down 51,000. Tell me that's not battling with the whales. They keep pushing. They only have one tool. This open positions P&L. The only way you can get more negative is if they keep pushing the price lower. It doesn't go lower if they push the price up, because then your inventory goes up in value. The only way they can make this column get bigger negative is if they keep pushing the price down, 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 down. But so that's only one tool they have, and it works well. Let me explain why it works well. Because when the inventory goes down in value, it pushes the account value down. And that scares people. They go, my account value is going down. I'm losing money. Well, you haven't sold anything at a loss. Take it easy. And actually, the auto trader punishes the market for going down there because the software says, well, I'll buy more at a lower price. I used to joke about that all the time when I was presenting to large audiences, face to face. I'd buy Microsoft at $30. I'd say, fine. What do you want to do, Microsoft? You want to go lower? I'll go lower. I'm the opposite of Hillary Clinton. Hillary used to say, when they go high, or when they go low, we'll go high. I go, no. When they go low, I'll go low. When they go high, I'll go high. I'm going wherever the price goes. And if you want to go lower, I'll buy more lower. Now what are you going to do? Run Microsoft out of business just to steal a few $1,000 from me? I dare you. I triple dare you. I can't think of any other words. I quadruple dare you. But they're not going to do that. It's going to wiggle. And every time it wiggles, just like every chart shows, there's no chart that doesn't have up, down, up, down, up, down. That's where the money is. Not waiting for it to go to some new high. So I don't care where it goes. Go down. The lower you go, the lower I'll go. Because everything you buy, look at every low point here. You can see you would have sold it off at a higher point. Every bottom has a higher point up. It's free money. And the software just takes free money forever. So if everybody doesn't just load up and buy, and I'm not a salesman, I'm just telling you, you really want to get in because the sooner you get in, the sooner your auto trader can start building inventory. So the closed positions never goes lower. That's the beauty. The open positions goes up and down based on the price of the coin, but the closed positions just keeps going higher and higher and higher. It's like having a jar and throwing marbles in it every day of your life and watch that jar fill up. And they can't stop you from taking money. And the only way they can stop it is if the coin stops moving. I've never seen a coin do that, especially these top moving coins. They're not going to stop moving. These coins that are giving me 1,000 trades, 958 trades, 785 trades, they're not going to just stop. Or if the coin goes out of business. And I haven't had that happen yet either in 4 years. I think Coinbase does a good job of vetting the coins. So this number just keeps going up and up and up forever. And the beauty is what we've got going on right now is they pushed this coins down 90% already over the last 4 years. And I've got inventory from top to bottom. And that means anytime they have a move, if a coin goes up, well, like you can just an example right here. You can see Doge. We sold, what did we sell today? All three of these, Sheeb, ACH, and Doge. And look at the Sheeb here. Look at that open right here. It opened it yesterday at 11:14 in the morning, and it sold it today at 4:39 a.m. for $137. And I can tell it's the same one. It bought it out because the shares are the same. See the shares, the quantity? The quantity right here matches the buy with the sell. You can see the quantity matches with that and that. And you can see it bought it at 1163 and it sold it at 1211. All I can say is thanks for the free money. It doesn't even mean anything to me. I can't spend the money that it makes every month. I mean, the amount of money that it just keeps taking and taking and taking and taking. I mean, here it took $2,800 of free money. I mean, that's like a job. And I mean, some people don't even make $2,831 in a month. And that was a really slow month. This auto trader could make $10,000 in a month. I can't spend it. I have a Coinbase Visa card that everywhere I go, I use it. I have a Sam's Club. It's an interesting mentally how I think because I have a Sam's Club card that pays 5% cash back for gas. I don't even use it. I like using the Coinbase card, Visa card, because it takes it right out of my USDC. It just takes it out of my cash. And it's just so fun to use it because every time I use it, I go, the card that keeps on giving. It's like the Twilight Zone. Remember in the 60s? Every time you open up the shoe box or the cigar box and reach in and pull out money, it's always there. It's always got money. Well, that's this card. It's just, I can't spend the amount of money it puts in there. I keep
Yeah,
spending,
Anthony, Ed,
he's putting it
Anthony,
back.
that's a good time to mention. Anthony gave us a, little tidbit. He said, "Making money in my sleep is disorienting, but I'm not complaining."
Yeah, but I'm not complaining. I mean, yeah, it's just a joke. I call the market an insult to humanity. I mean, and you know what's interesting is I talk to people. Sometimes because I yap with, I talk to people for hours, even if they don't even have an auto trader. I talk to them for months. And when, they sign up 6 months later and they go, I should have signed up 6 months ago. I know, you're gonna sign up. You're gonna do it because I don't know what they're going to do to the market. They can't stop what I'm doing because there's no law against buying a coin and then selling it at a higher
Well,
price.
guess what? Everybody that owns a trader, they can't stop what they're doing either. I mean, the only
I know.
angst I have in doing this is I wake up going, how can we get to more people faster just to show them the opportunity? I don't care whether you say yes or no. If
Right.
you do your own research and look at the facts that we're providing, you can't dispute 25 years worth of constant success. I mean, I don't.
No.
All I can think of is it takes people longer to process to go. Wow, I'm really going to need to think about this because everybody that's using this platform
Well,
wins.
I notice that people like it when somebody else of influence, say Crypto Casey, believes in it, so then they
Yep.
follow her. I get that. I appreciate that. It's like TD Ameritrade called me in 2006 with the stock market out of the blue. And I was surprised to get a phone call. It's like, TD Ameritrade, why are you calling me? How do you even know me? I don't advertise. I'm just word of mouth. Clients have it, they share it with other people. And his answer was so profound. I want his answer to be put on my headstone someday, right? He said, "You're real." That's a cool response. Isn't that cool? And then my answer back was, I said, "Yeah, that's right, I am real." Because I said, "How did you even know me? Why are you calling me?" Because he said, "Will you connect your robotic traders to us so our clients can use it?" And I never called TD Ameritrade. You can't call a big conglomerate like that and expect them to even take your phone call. So, but it's cool when they call you. And I've automated all of them. I mean, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, MB Trading, Auto Shares, Bond Trade, and God, probably another half dozen other ones. I mean, I've automated all the brokers over the years, and by their request. I don't go out there. I don't need to add more brokers, I don't care. But I've automated Coinbase and Kraken. Those are the only two exchanges I automated for the crypto market because there's so many other ones that go out of business. And I'm like, I don't want my clients to just get robbed. These foreign companies, I'm not putting down foreign countries or anything, but I don't trust. I like Coinbase. They're a publicly traded company. They're on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. I think that's cool. I mean, if I looked up the price of Coinbase real fast, it'll only take me a second. If I look for
Yeah, well,
Coinbase
you're saying
coin,
that the two exchanges that you chose are really really smart. There's only combined, if you look at both exchanges, there's only maybe a dozen countries in the entire world that someone can't open up a Coinbase or
Yeah, I got clients all over the world with Coinbase and Kraken. Look at Coinbase today, up $9 today, $9 in the stock market. Up, they're at $346 a share. I don't think Coinbase is going anywhere, so I don't think they're going to disappear like some of those other ones. Like Attila was saying, you put your money in some exchange, and then they rug pull you or whatever. I had to, I didn't even know what a rug pull was. People had to explain to me, oh yeah, you put your money in this place, and then they just disappear. I'm like, what? I can't. I don't even want to put my money in those places. I've got a fortune in my account, my Coinbase and Kraken accounts. And those are the only two exchanges I automated. I'm not here to gamble, I've got a lot of people that count on this software. Some people that are rich and a lot of people that aren't rich. And people trading with $500 accounts, $5,000 accounts, $20,000 accounts. People say, Ed, my life savings in here, I'm really counting on this thing being real and working and all. And it does. It just cranks out money forever. Almost, you can see it here in the trades in the lower right. Almost every day. And I like what it does. Adding to decliners. That means it's adding to a position while it's going down. But if it has an AI at the end of it, it says adding to decliners, but AI got involved. What that means is the coin was going lower, and the software said, I want to buy more. But then the AI said, hold on, don't buy it yet. The price is going lower. So then the software held off. You got adding to decliners. You got profit goal reached. Um,
Hey, Ed, can you show one thing we didn't show that's always a question? People ask how much do I need to invest or how much can I invest and what would the ROI be? Obviously, we're not financial advisors like Edward said in the beginning, so we can't advise on it's all market dependent on what your ROI is going to be. Which coins are you going to choose? When are you going to start? How much money you got in there?
yeah,
But
I don't worry about it.
we can show a track record of other traders, what they started with and what they reaped. These are actual traders.
Yeah, this report goes back a year, and it looks at like this guy here. He started with $3,000 one
Right.
year ago, 12 months ago, and he took 15,000 in profits, physical profits, actual money off the table. That's the beautiful thing about this is you're not waiting around for some statement to come in the mail to tell you how much you made. You see it making it. You see it making it every day or every other day.
I
You
love
see
it.
it closing positions and taking that profit, and you can do whatever you want with it. That's your money. The auto trader's job is to make money, and that's all it does. It cranks out money, and how you spend your money is on you. I mean, and that's a 477% return. You think Warren Buffett would love to have a system like this? I'm waiting for his phone call. All right. I'm waiting for the whales. I've already had rich people call me and say, how come you set the limit of each trader to 2 million? Because the guy's got 10 million, he wants to throw the whole 10 million in. I said, fine, then you need to buy 5 auto traders because the auto trader is only going to let you trade 2 million in each account. He said, you could change that number to 10 million. It's just one line in the code. I said, that's right, but I didn't create it for you. I didn't create it for rich people. I created this for everyday people. The person that wants to trade with $500 or $1,000 or 10,000, whatever. I've got full range of people trading with all different amounts. Here's a guy with $27,000 number, and he took 52,000 in profits. That's physical profits off the table. He literally 189% return. I mean, where do you get returns like that? And it didn't do it all at once. That's the beauty of it. It's just every day it's how much money you want to give me, market. You want to give me money today or you don't want to give me money today? It's a down day? Fine. Don't give me any money today. I'm not going to run out and buy a Ferrari tomorrow. I'm in no rush. Go ahead and just watch it build up. And, it's going to add up. Those profits never stop. And here's a guy that only started with $279. He took $454. That's 163% return. You can't get returns like these anywhere else that I could think of. Here's
Yep.
a guy that started with almost $8,000 and took $10,822 in profits. And what does he have? Click on his symbols. Click on the view details. He's trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, look at that. He's trading all the coins I wouldn't be trading. Actually, they're not even big movers, but yet they still crank out money. He's got 10% of his money. If you add this up, it adds up to 100% of he's allocating the 100% of the funds he put in. He said 10% for Bitcoin, 20% for Ethereum, 10% for Solana, is that it? And
Yep.
50% in XRP. And he's allowing it to buy, he's allowing it to sell, so he's buying and selling on the wiggles. He's taking 3% profit goal. He's adding on 3% drops. He's doing 30 lots max, which is a 90% trading window going down. Add down to a 90% drop. That's man, you got 90% protection. And that means it's buying and selling the whole time, man. This is where it almost feels illegal. You're just taking free money forever, and there's nothing they can do to stop me. That's the beauty. And I can't get, you notice I say it a lot because my brain has a hard time wrapping around the fact that I'm just taking free money out of the market forever. It's like endless space. I have a hard time grasping that concept of
That's
endless.
great. That's
It's
awesome.
just
Hey, Ed, we
crazy.
got we got some questions. Are you ready to take the jacket off yet?
Well, it depends. How angry am I going to get? No, I think I'll leave my jacket on today. It's a little cold in here.
All
All
right,
right.
so yeah, before we get into that, can I do a little bit of housekeeping? Since
Yep.
but there may be some people chomping at the bit. We promised that and maybe we didn't mention it, but we should have. So Crypto Casey, with our assistance, worked with Ed Barsano to provide a exclusive discount for her audience, which you have access to. I am putting in the code into the chat. This takes it from, if you go to GoBabyTrade.com, excuse me, it's $4,499 for a 3-year license, which is still amazing. If you joined us the last time, I think it was probably 6 or 7 weeks ago, that Crypto Casey joined us on the call. And again, remember I told you at the beginning, we sat down with her. She left that for the next 3 months and said, scam, 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 scam. Bought it on her own, full retail price, did her research, called us back and said, oh my gosh, it's not a scam. Negotiated the opportunity for her audience, of which I just posted. You can do if you click on that link, it'll take you to the front page of GoBabyTrade.com. But from there, if you choose to do your own research, and you can, all these reports that we've shown you, you have access to even before you buy the trader. But if you choose to buy the trader, buy it with the link because it provides you $1,000 discount. It nets out to $3.19 a day. I think it's $97 a month, $23 a week to automate part or all, as much as you want of your financial life, that just cranks out free money. I'm also going to put in the chat. We talked about Attila and I are the support mechanism, sort of the go-between between Crypto Casey's audience and GoBabyTrade. And I just put 2 in there. So RCT Marketing Systems, support at rctmarketingsystems.com. If you have questions or go, I just can't figure this out, we're happy to help you. If you buy the trader and want, there are very comprehensive videos about connecting with your Coinbase. But some people like a little bit more 6-star white glove service, which we strive to provide. You can set up an appointment with us. We'll jump on a Zoom. We'll get you connected, and away you go. If you've got more technical questions, then please use the latter, support at GoBabyTrade.com. Ed and his group are there. This is not something that we're educating and you buy and we leave you in the dark. This is community that you're joining. And with that, the last piece of homework that I have is, let me share with you Financial Intelligence, which is our company, Attila and I, of multiple companies. I'm putting in there, we just started now 3 weeks ago, a community. So it's now open. Originally it was intended for everybody that owns the trader, but we're finding that we've left the door open and welcomed you in. If you have questions, go in, just like you see in the chat. There are people in there that will give you the good and the bad and the ugly, but take out the good and the bad because there isn't any. It simply is a community that we care about, that we want to support and educate. Again, it's Anthony said, it's making money in your sleep or automated. I get two things. I'm out floating in the middle of somewhere while I'm on assignment, and I'm making free money, and I get to share it with you. So take all the free resources, take all the free education. As I said, I got to say it again. Ed, could you imagine if they taught this in university, in finance? Hey, how could you automate a part of your
They
financial?
don't teach any of this stuff in school at all. Zero.
They don't.
You know what they teach in school? They're
Go
trying to tell you
get
that the whole world's going to go to the metric system. They've been telling us since grammar school. Where is it?
a job. Go
They
to
didn't
school,
get rid
get a
of
job, trade time for money. That's what they teach you. It's a great distraction. So with that, Attila, take it away. Let's jump into the actually, we don't have a whole lot of questions, so we must be getting better at educating. You're muted.
Sorry, I muted myself. So yeah, let me grab James's question. He says, Ed, he says, when you go over the auto trader, can you please talk about where the different prices come from? There's about 3 or 4 different places that prices show up. I'm not really sure what specific prices he's referring to.
Oh, no, I am.
Okay.
All right, I'll show you. Let me hide this floating thing here. All right. So you're talking about current ask price. There's a bid and an ask. If you look at a level 2 screen, I'll bring that up.
Which everybody doesn't have access to.
No, you
Because
don't
they
have
don't need to.
access. It's too much.
This
And
is
you can see
behind the
these,
scenes stuff.
you
Yeah.
can see these fake orders in here, like this one down here, the one that had 126 shares, here's 124 shares right here on the bottom there. Those are fake orders that if you want to buy more than that, you're not going to get filled at that price. The price is going to have to go higher in order to buy the amount of shares that you want to buy. Or same thing with the selling. I just saw 61 shares go by here, or 167 shares. Or 150 shares. You see all this? These best bid and ask, you're really gonna pay a higher price than that. So those orders on the screens, they're that you see in the market aren't necessarily the price you're gonna get. Sometimes I see, people debate, they'll send email and say, hey, the price was there, and I'm like, you were never going to get filled at that price. So why would I send an order at that price? Because you want to buy 1,000 shares and they're only offering 50 shares at that price. If I want to buy more than 50, I'm going to end up paying a much higher price because there's not 1,000 shares available for the at the lower prices. So sometimes, and again, other systems would try to fill it at these prices and you would end up paying a lot more. You can't fake
Yeah,
out this
Ed,
auto trader. So
I
there's
just read
one
an article.
price.
I just read an article about the price manipulation. And when you show that level 2 screen, there is nothing other than price manipulation going on. And why did they do that? They put those 50s and 100s when people are trying to either buy or sell to thousands, right? Why did they put them in there? I just figured out, or not figured out, I just read an article that said those are hook prices. Those are loss leader manipulating prices that are put out there to hook you and get your attention, and they fill the little bitty that they're offering at that price, and then
They jack it way up.
and then they trap you and fill the rest of your order unless you have a limit order.
Well,
So they're trapping you into higher
the
prices.
problem is that limit order is way up here and the price is all the way down here, and
Right.
they're showing you this beautiful price down here that you're really never going to get. So sometimes people look at that price and say, how come I didn't get filled at that price? I mean, I get emails like that and I'm like, it wasn't even real. You're looking at it. I mean, I'm showing you what the current best ask price is, but for the amount of you're trading, in this case, I'm trading 171,000 shares. There's no way I'm going to get filled at that price. you
Right.
know. So you have one price here, the ask price, the current ask price. and then you have the current, here it shows current bid price down here. You see the difference, 18841, and you see there's a gap. That's the spread between the bid and the ask. 18841 versus 18486. There's a big gap there. So there's another price between the buy and the sell. Then if the auto trader, it's telling me if the price drops to 17920, it'll buy more, and the current bid price is 18486. So if it drops down to that, to 17920, it'll buy more. If it goes up to 5 cents, it's only at 1.7 cents, it'll buy more. And what you don't see here is the gap between the two. It'll also can add between the gap. If the gap is big enough between these, it can buy more in the middle. And then it also has, if I scroll down here a little, my target profit goal. It says if it goes to 2 cents, see right here, the target profit goal is 2
Yep,
cents.
that's
So if the
awesome.
price goes to 2 cents, it's going to sell this one. But this one's still down 4.33% here. So it's not going to, unless it goes to 2 cents, it's not going to sell this one. So more than likely, it might drop a little bit more and I'll buy more and it'll put another one above it. And then that one, as it wiggles, you buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. But I can hold these other positions that are underwater. I don't even care about those. These don't matter.
Okay, that's
So
a
they're
good, I
different
mean,
places of different prices.
yeah, no,
You have the bid price, you have the ask price, you have target prices. I mean, basically, that's all the market is a bunch of prices, and you got to figure out how to buy and sell in the middle of all that.
yep.
No, yeah, they're wrong. We don't have to figure out anything.
No, yeah, that's why you let the auto trader handle it all.
Yeah, that's really just so everybody knows, I have an advantage. I know Ed Barsano 13 years, and I trust what he's developed over the last 25 years. Now, this is no knock at all on the question that was just asked, but I would never ask a question like that because I know with over, and so I respect the question because you don't know Ed Barsano 13 years like I do, and you haven't used the stock trader
Why?
for the.
What was the question? Did I miss something?
No, what are the prices and all this? But my point
Well,
is
he's
this.
just wondering where are all
Yeah.
the different
No, but I'm
prices? They
making a
are.
point,
Click
Ed.
on the plus. That's an important thing. Click on the plus, and it'll show you your most recent one. It says
Right.
I'm down 4.25, 4%. So you're not going to sell that.
No,
Um,
but what I'm
and
trying to make a point,
Dogecoin.
Ed. I'm trying to make a point. My point is this. With over 3 million plus lines of code and 25 years of your experience with programming and building auto traders, I don't need to know what price this says or what price. I just know that it works because it's
I
been
know.
working for that long and I trust the system. So again, I respect the question because the person asking it is in this. Maybe they're looking at it for the first time, or maybe they've only been using the trader a month. But I'm just trying to show that the differences between mindset. I hope that makes sense. So anyway,
Yes,
Edward,
Sure.
you want to grab the next question?
yeah. Actually, Scott put I think he's new with us. Put a question in the chat that I just noticed. His question is: has anyone put their GoBabyTrade in an IRA or other tax deferred vehicle? The answer is yes. Here's the good news. Not we're not quite there to be able to announce a new joint venture that we've done. And again, let me back up. Part of joining the Financial Intelligence for You community, which is a free community, is that we are constantly adding on all kinds of things as the market matures. Right? We've already checked off the first big box. Right? If we're showing you how to make money in your sleep, wouldn't you want to protect it and grow it and as Scott talks about tax deferred or something that continues to protect it and allowing you to maximize what you're making in your sleep. So the answer is yes. I can tell you this. I'll leak a little bit of information out as we're working with a couple of different companies. One is a tax strategist, and the other is a master at IRAs that they know how to create an LLC for you, put your IRA in the LLC, because there's all kinds, and I'm not an expert at it, but they are, to put your IRA into an LLC and have the software just simply crank out money. I mean, what a brilliant concept. We are going to talk about it when we actually have all the I's and T's dotted and crossed. But what an amazing concept to be able
Cash
to work
flow.
all your life to put you in a position to cash flow your IRA. So yes, that's coming. We will announce it when we're ready, but yes, you can do that.
All right, Frank, unfortunately, Frank had to go, but he's going to listen to the answer to his question, which you're about to ask, Edward. He's going to listen to that on the recording. So go
Okay,
ahead.
bear with me. Let me get to Frank's
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Frank, hi. What is the best way to switch to a faster, more volatile horse and reduce the slower ones, holding all the revenue you want to move into another coin? Say,
Like this. I can show the answer to that. Just
okay,
uncheck. Say I don't
hold
want
on.
to trade Dogecoin.
Let
Do you
me
want to?
let me give you the full comprehension, because that's only about halfway through the question. And yes, jump in. Say position bunk is producing a small return only every few days, compared to drift, which is producing 3x times better in return. In return terms, more volatility, larger return, even funds distribution set. Do I sell some or convert on Coinbase to free up USDC for the new drift asset? Which such actions screw up the trader? So go ahead, Ed.
All right. Say I don't want to trade Dogecoin anymore, and it's got $25,000 allocated, available. I can say stop buying that coin, which stops using his money. I can add another coin, let's say Bitcoin or whatever, and then say spread funds equally, and there you go. Done. So it moved it stopped. So you're still holding your Doge that you own. It's gonna sell it. You see up above here, it's labeled allow sells. Leave that checked. Just tell it don't buy on the decliner, don't buy on the advancer. So don't add more shares to that one anymore. But don't sell it at a loss. I
No.
wouldn't do that. I never sell something at a loss manually. And then I allow it to sell. If the price goes higher, it can sell off my open inventory that I'm sitting on. And in the meantime, it'll divert that money it had to Bitcoin and
Or
to the
or
new
in
coin.
or in Frank's case, drift, or any other coin.
Yeah.
And then, then he also has, as part of his question, he has the option of excuse me, converting some coins that he's holding, converting them to USDC, which will just give more fuel to
Which
the
would give
trader.
more funds to the
Right,
trader. Yeah.
right. Good. Yep. All right, Frank. Thanks for joining us. You'll catch us when you see the replay, but hopefully that answered your question.
All right. Do you want me to grab Colette's question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the question, Ed, is this is from Colette. I started in January of this year. I used the default setting for 25 max lots. I have not reached that amount, though I've been close the past 2 weeks. So I increased it to 30 lots. However, I've noticed as the prices have dropped, the trader waits to buy way past the 3% price drop. Sometimes it's 8 to 10% price drop before it buys. Is this the way it's supposed to be? I heard Ed say it's conservative when the market is down, but the market has to go up 10% before I can sell anything.
No.
Here it is here. Again, is she looking at this number that it's up 10% or something? That's today's move. It doesn't mean that it's if she clicks on the plus next to any coin, it'll tell her the price it has to drop to. Look, next estimated declining trade price. It's telling you if it drops to this price, it'll buy more.
Yep.
I have a clarification. Paulette, chime in to the chat if I hit this nail on the head. You're saying that it waits and buys at an 8 to 10% drop. Excuse me. And then your assumption is that it's conservative and the market is down 10%, but it has to go up 10 or down. It has to go up 10% before I can sell anything. No, that's not the case. So
None of
let me
those are the
tell you
case.
how it works is that if the AI or the overall strategy tells you that it has to drop a certain, or it drops a certain percent and it doesn't buy at the 3%, but it waits. Maybe the AI kicked in and said, "Oh, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it." It gets down to where it drops 10% and then it buys it. It doesn't have to go up 10% for you to make money. It only has to go up 3% because that's the new target.
Right.
That makes sense.
And I don't know where she's getting the 10%. I'm thinking
No,
it's
no, no.
from
It's
the
it was
screen.
the
Click on
I
the
read it.
plus. You got to click on the plus.
Right, but I read it
It's-
a little choppy. What she's saying is even if it drops and it buys it not at a 3% drop, it buys it at a 10% drop. Her
Oh,
assumption was that it would have to go up 10% before she made any money. It
no.
goes, it buys that individual lot, and that individual lot alone, if it jumps 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever the case may
Whatever
be.
the profit goal. See
Right.
this profit goal? Whatever that whatever you buy it at, if that one lot goes up, if I bought it here and it goes up 3%, it's going to sell it. It doesn't have,
Yeah.
even if it dropped 10% to buy it, it's going to sell it 3% higher.
That's the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, well done. Well, good question, Colette, but I
It
think
was
you
a
could
good
see
question.
now you were a little bit misconstrued on your understanding of that. It does definitely, if it's set for 3% here, like Ed Barsano just said, there's no way it's going to wait till 10%. It goes up 3%, boom, cha-ching. Another 3%, boom, cha-ching. So you're good.
Well, Colette did put a follow on in the Q&A. She said, when I click the plus sign to go into the specific coin, it shows when it is going to buy and when it ignored the buy, and it's now showing down 10% before it gets to the target price posted.
Yeah, that's a little confusing. You know,
So
on that, on this,
the target price is the profit.
Right.
That's
She's saying it's showing down 10%.
But do you have another one above it? Because if like this one here is down 4%, but the one below it is down 12%. You only want to look at the top one.
yeah, again, it's market dependent, right? If you've
Yeah.
got 5 or 10 lots, they're all going to be down different percentages. On that one, Colette, I would say on that particular one, why don't you send a screenshot to support@GoBabyTrade.com and just rewrite your specific question, because it's a little confusing what you mean.
Because
And
then we can
somebody,
look at your trader.
yeah,
Then we can
Yes.
actually look at your
yeah,
trader and see what
yeah,
it is
because you've
exactly.
been with us a while, so it's not a problem.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for the questions. We certainly don't want to mislead you, and we want to give you the most comprehensive answer that we can. But this is certainly one that you may want to consider reaching out to Ed and his team. Okay, thanks. I'll send the screenshot. Awesome. Thanks, Colette.
Oops. I think I accidentally
My second water
Oh,
bottle's gone.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you accidentally clicked off Scott's.
yeah,
Scott's.
Scott said something about 100% decline or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Nope.
I've got it. I've got it.
Right.
It's in the answered question. So Scott says some of the people have their traders set to buy over 100% price drop. Can you explain that to me? It looks to me like they are wasting opportunity. Ed? It appears that he's asking the question or making the statement that some people have a trading window that's over
Down
100%.
here.
Right.
Like right now, this year, 3 times 4.
Is
3 times
120.
40 would be it's based on the number. See this max
Right.
lots is 40? If I go back to my main screen, this one here is already at 33. So I raised it to 7 more lots above that. I wasn't really looking at the percent or how far down below from the top of the lot, the first lot I bought. I was more interested in, I'm already at 33 lots, so I raised it to 40. That's all.
So right. So when it shows 100% price drop, you know, one of the explanations is that they've run out of money, right? If
It's
they
really, well, no, they haven't run out of money. They're not, it's just that from the very first lot they bought from a year ago, you know, who knows what happened here? They could have taken money out, they could have done all kinds of stuff.
right,
But so I'm basing it on just the 33, the coin with the most lots that I currently own, which is right here, 33. And I just said, I'm gonna raise that number. I'm gonna say, well, cover me down to 40 lots. I wasn't looking down here at all,
right.
what the expected trading window is from the top, because all the coins are jumping all over the place. I was more interested in, I want to be able to continue trading. You know, this might have been only 30, you know, might have been 30. And then, you know, that only gave me, it doesn't matter about that anymore. If I can only go 30 lots and I'm already at 33, this coin would stop trading because it says you already exceeded 30 lots. So I
Right.
just raised it to 40.
Yeah, most of us that have been in for a year, maybe two, have not run into that issue, even though the market's been down significantly. But Ed, you
Yeah.
know, most of your stuff is you've been playing this since you launched the trader. So
And you
you
can't own enough. The bigger the lots, the more the lots I own, I love it. That just means the coin's dropped a real lot. You notice 33 lots, that coin is down 96,000, whereas these other ones are down a lot less.
right.
So,
Good.
and that's
Scott
the
says
thing.
thanks. So hopefully we sort of touched on it. Thank you, Scott. All right. Well, guess
Awesome.
what? We're out of questions.
Well,
You want-
guys, let me say this, and Edward touched on it before. So for those of you that are new, this is the way that I look at it. It's as we work for a living and we earn income, you could only earn so much income, right? And you can only put so much elbow grease into it. And even if you are a very, very high income earner, your money's dead. It basically your money is unemployed especially with TradFi, traditional finance. You can't even outpace inflation usually with TradFi. It's crazy. So it's our responsibility as individuals.
TradFi, that's traditional finance.
Right,
Right.
TradFi, yes. It's up to us as individual citizens, family, the heads of family, or the second in charge of family, or whoever you are, to put our money to work and give our money a job. And I believe wholeheartedly there's no better way to give your money a job than through this trader, because it's automated, it's proven, it's systematic. You could do it while you're in your sleep, or it's doing it for you while you're in your sleep. It's just, there's no negative to this, really. It's safe, your money's safe and secure. Nobody could steal it. So there's all kinds of positives.
Well,
And
it blows away
I don't I don't
manual
know
trading.
I don't know if you're all familiar with the Ben Franklin close, but this is what I suggest if you're new. Ben Franklin, when he had a very, very hard decision to make, he used to draw a line down the middle of the paper and a line across the top. And on the left, he had pro, the reasons for making that decision, and con, the reasons against making that decision. And when you take the trader, really, there's no con. I can't think of one con.
I know. I want
It's
people to post the cons.
So, so we're here to help you. Edward posted the $1,000 discount link.
Yeah,
He
I'll do
post
that again.
he posted the support links, our support at rctmarketingsystems.com. That comes straight to us, and we're good at getting back to people. We get back to you quick. And the other one is if you got a really, really, really a more complicated or more technical question, just support at gobaby.com. It's real simple.
Go baby
And
trade.
we are here every Wednesday on behalf of Casey's audience, 2 p.m. Eastern. So with that, I've said my piece. Edward, before you, by the way, Ed Barsano, any parting words?
I have lots of, what did Khan say? CB, Coinbase or Kraken delist your crypto? I don't know what. That's
Okay, so
very rare.
let me speak to that, because that is a question that comes up. On the grand scheme of things, yes, there have been a handful of cryptos that have been delisted by Kraken and by Coinbase. But if you stick to the ones that are in the top 30 to 50 on the billion-dollar report, I don't think you have any issue with that, because these major centralized exchanges like Coinbase or Kraken, it's their reputation at stake. They do a lot of research on these coins before they list them, and it's very, very unlikely they're gonna list a dog, unless the name of that crypto is DOG, dog, and I do own a crypto with that name. Okay, so that's few and far between. I mean,
Yeah, let me make a comment on something new that I learned about that. The PRQ, matter of fact, a good friend of mine that has the trader was
yeah.
trading PRQ. I don't know what the reason was for choosing that, but chose. It got delisted, and there wasn't any way to trade it. And actually, I think it changed names, and then the new name that it went to, React, I think it was, no longer met the minimum criteria to be traded on Coinbase. Now, his question was, geez, what now what do I do? And I'm like, it's not happened to me. I don't know. Between the two of us, we figured out Coinbase will actually, if they delist something, I don't know about Kraken, but in this case, if they delist something, they will assist you in selling it and liquidating it simply back into USD or USDC.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
So
that.
I didn't know that resource was available. So if that ever does happen to you, it's not dead money.
Yeah.
The other way is that you could transfer it off to another exchange, but the easiest way to do it, particularly if you're deploying that money into and employing that money in the trader, is just send a request to Coinbase and say, yes, I have this. You can see it that it's in my inventory. Please liquidate it and put it into USDC. In that case, as soon as that liquidation happens, you can then, if you've chosen a different coin, which in my friend's case he did, or if you just want to reallocate it into the available funds, then that's an answer too. So it wasn't a case of it going out of business, but as far as the trader was concerned, it went out of business because it could no longer trade in
That
perpetuity.
symbol.
And then you just liquidate it and transfer it to another asset.
Right.
Awesome. Well, with
Yep.
that, folks, we really, really appreciate you being here. Edward, I've said my piece. Any last words?
Yeah. Well, last words are I love it when we get to do this. I love the opportunity because I've prospered from the generosity and the hard work over decades and decades that Mr. Barsano has perfected and cornered the market. I'm so grateful, as I always say to Mr. Barsano, you have given me the opportunity to provide for my family, provide a legacy for my family. You said it's going to make money until you die. My argument was it makes money even after you die for the people you leave a well-funded trader to. There is no other opportunity like this, at least for me. This is so convinced, right? Obviously, and Attila's as well, is he was so convinced that this works that we want to teach as many people as possible. So I am grateful and thank you for the opportunity for me to share this information, and I hope it prospers for you. Whatever you need, we're here every week. It's not like it's some fly by night. It's 25 years. It'll be around for the next 25 years. And
Easily,
take,
until I'm
take
150.
take it for what it is.
No,
I
it'll
mean,
leave me
it is
longer than that. My son will take it over, I
yep,
mean, he's been doing it for 15 years.
and his kids and his kids. So
And
my last
there is
words
an
are always,
urgency.
yeah,
There is an urgency.
right. My last words are always thank you. Thank you for allowing us to share
Yeah.
this with you. And thank you for joining our community. Please ask questions. Please come back. The same link that you used to register for this week, you can register and follow us and ask questions until you go, hey, I think these guys are kind of square and this thing does work. So, with that, blessings. Thank you so much. Mr.
Don't go
Barsano,
yet.
Attila.
Don't go
No,
yet.
I'm not going anywhere. You got
No,
your
don't go
last.
yet.
All right, Attila,
I do have
thank
one
you
more
so much
thing I want to
for
say.
joining me. So we'll give it to you. Yeah, you're welcome, Scott. Thank you to everybody. Attila, I'm sorry, Ed, you get the last words.
Do I get the last words?
Go for it.
All right. There is an urgency, and I'm not a salesman. Everybody knows that. But you notice I have 18 lots of this coin. That means if that coin was to jump, say, 50% in a day, or even 10%, and then, you know, and we have 10% days, 15% days, big moving days, okay? I have a lot of inventory to sell off when that happens, okay? Whereas when you first sign up, you're going to buy one lot of each coin, right? You're only going to have one lot, one lot, one lot, one lot, one lot. That means picture a 7-Eleven. Some of you heard me use this example. You have one bag, basically you have one bag of potato chips on the shelf. And now a school bus full of kids pulls in. You only got one bag of potato chips to sell. So if I convert that to the market, what I'm saying is if that coin did a 20% jump, you're only going to make 20% on one lot because that's all you own. The sooner you get started, the sooner the auto trader can start working for you to start building this inventory. So that if you have 18 bags of potato chips on the shelf, 33 bags of potato chips on the shelf. So a school bus full of kids comes in, I can sell, and that's basically what I'm saying there is the coin jumps 20% or 30%. I've got a lot of inventory to sell off and make a fortune. So the sooner you get started, so this isn't the kind of thing where you say, well, I'm going to wait for the market to take off and then I'll jump in. Well, then you don't own any inventory. So the market takes off, you don't have any inventory. You really want to get started when things are bad. And I hate to say, unfortunately, we're going into alt season. And you know what altcoins are? Altcoins are any coin other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the coin, and then altcoins, alternative coins, are all the other coins. We're going into alt season when all these coins are supposed to take off over the next 3 months. You gotta build inventory. Don't wait for that.
Exactly.
So,
Great
and I'm not
point.
a salesman, but I'm telling you,
That is a great point.
you gotta
You're not,
jump in and let the game begin so the software can start doing what it does.
so you're not a salesman, but buy now.
I don't know what to say. I sound like a salesman. I feel bad, you know. You can't even talk about this stuff on the internet, so it's fun to talk about it. You know, somebody will say, "Get out of here, scammer," you know, and I'm like, man, I can't go to a dog website and talk about dogs. You know, I don't know what to say. We're on a crypto board. Can we talk about crypto? No.
Awesome, folks. Well, with that, we really appreciate everybody being here today. We'll see you next week. And Ed Barsano, thanks so much for your time. Edward, great
Thank you,
job.
Crypto Casey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you,
We
Crypto
love you
Casey.
guys. Thank you so much.
Bye all.
All right. Cheers.
Go
Bye-bye.
Navy.
Go ahead. You got it
Amen.
in.